Well, welcome back to VIR, where we look high above Virginia International Raceway as we turn our attention now to SVRA. Vintage racing at its finest, the largest club in the United States for vintage racing, and a massive field here once again, a record field in many ways, and everybody itching to go racing again. Obviously COVID, as it has with all sport this year, has had an impact on racing, and therefore not as many races in the calendar as always. But they're making do, and they're getting out there when they get the opportunity, and here is one of those opportunities. Well, SVRA, if you're new to it, is the largest and oldest vintage racing organization in the USA, originally named the Southeast Vintage Racing Association, and was founded all the way back in 1978 by Ford Heacock, and started off with just 25 drivers, and now there are more than 2,000 licensed members of SVRA, run by Tony Perella. And as you look down, we are getting ready for the first of our feature races that we've seen. This is Group 8 and Group 12B, and looking forward to this one. This is a Series 4 sports cars and sedans in production to 1972. Mainly sports cars and sedans. And all the cars prepared to SCCA standards from 1972 or earlier. And here we come down the hill. The safety car's lights are off, which means we will be going racing fairly soon. I say fairly soon, it should be in just a couple of seconds. And as you can see, another big field of cars getting ready to go racing. So we are about to get underway, and it is the 242 Alfa Romeo who leads the way as the green flag waves. And it's Mark Brummond, who's already been in action earlier today in his BMW in Trans Am. He's been racing in SGT and now leading the field here. And Scott Kissinger in the 202, just behind him. So a good clean start, rolling start as always. But it's the Alfa that leads the way and already pulling away at the front, the two. And as we said, this is sedan cars basically from 72 and earlier. A lot of Datsuns out there. The odd BMW, as you can see, the 164 coming through. And lovely overhead shots of the Virginia International Raceway as the field starts to spread out here in our first feature race. This is Group 8 and Group 12B. And already, Brummond starting to pull away in the Alfa, but in fact the two of them pulling away from the rest of the field. So a good clean start, got some good jostling for position in the midfield. And it's great to see these HMS prepared BMWs out there. Their pit or preparation area just behind our commentary position. Ooh, Ford Capri there, I think. Very nice indeed. So we're underway and up and running here in SVRA. As we see them, we'll give you an indication of the cars that we've got out on track. And it's a packed field, as I said, everybody itching to get on track, having had so much time off. Now, already, we've got a change in the lead, as it looks as though Brummond has lost that lead. I don't know if he made a mistake there or not, but it was just down the back straight. Looks like Scott Kissinger has taken the lead in the Datsun in the 202. And sure enough, starting to pull away at the front. And look at the gap they've already got on the third place man. And that's Chip Stabler in the 827. The BMW of Stabler trying to stay up with the leaders, but he's lost a lot of ground. But though, to be fair to him, he's pulled away from the rest of the pack, so he's on his own too as he heads through towards NASCAR again. And a little further back, we're looking at the rest of the field. Now we're starting to see the timings coming through. Stinson in 7th, Nash, Glavin, Davenport in 10th place ahead of Davis in 11th. Alderman just behind in 12th position as the field starts to spread out. Dull, Wright, and Vaccaro, your top 15 here at VIR. And they had practice this morning and qualifying this morning, and in what was rather wet conditions because we had a lot of rain overnight and during the test day yesterday. So this is the first time really these guys have had a run in the dry, and the race at the front is continuing with a pace because back into the lead goes Brummond. So this is a good ding-dong battle between the pair of them. But look at the gap they've already pulled down the back straight here at VIR over the third place man, Stabler. Dunbar in 4th place, Byrne in 5th place, and Jim Lenahan in 6th place ahead of Paul Stinson in 7th. John Nash in 8th position, Bill Glavin in 9th, and Rob Davenport rounding out the top 10 here in the early stages of this one. Down roller coaster they come. This is the third place man at the moment, Stabler. Trying to stay or see if he can catch up with the leaders, but the distance they've already got away from him, I think there's not much chance of that. And again, a change in lead because Brummond now back to 2nd place. So these two are going at it. I think it's down the back straight where they're making the moves, but they're pretty close at the moment. Most of these drivers know each other's racing very well indeed. They take part in vintage racing all across America in SVRA. That's some of the most iconic circuits, and it's a joy to watch them. Our motto is, we don't just look at art, we race it. And there really are some beautiful machines out here, well prepared, beautifully looked after, and restored, and kept to the modifications as best they can to how they raced at the time. Now we're looking at the number 38 Mazda. And like I said, this is our Group 8. And high above the VIR circuit, I'm just pausing because my cohort, Ben Sissel's getting himself into position. And I'm sure if he wasn't sitting in the commentary booth, he'd be out there if he had a chance.
Oh, I wish. And I love the production cars, and then I tend a little bit more towards the small bore, but this is kind of what I would consider the medium bore production cars.
Yep. And quite a variance out there in terms of different cars. I mean, you've got the Japanese, obviously, who made their names in the early 70s, late 60s, and were a real force to be reckoned with. And they were the sort of second wave. If the Europeans came to race in America, it was the Japanese who then took on the Americans after that. And so, yep, they've got a big and distinguished history here. And it also made racing more affordable to Americans. There was a lot of Americans who wouldn't have thought of going racing because it was all Ferraris, or factory entries in terms of Trans Am, or
well, a lot of the guys like in the SCCA in like the 50s and 60s, and we're racing British cars.
Sure.
And here comes Datsun to make basically a British car reliable. So they just all kind of shifted to that because that was unthinkable for the British car guys.
Only an American could get away with that. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, an MG guy like me to think, oh, I can drive a 240, or look at this. So that's Mark Brummond in the 242, yes. And we saw him in the TA SGT race. He was in that beautiful BMW, and now he's in the 242 Alpha trying to make his move on Scott Kissinger in the 240Z.
Well, these two have been swapping paint literally for the last 3 laps. They've changed position 3 times already.
I love it.
And
so let me explain this. Mark Brummond is actually, they're in the same race, but he's actually racing in top in Group 12.
Gotcha.
And then there's Group 8. And basically what it is Group 12 is, I think, from like 1980 on, or 1972 on. And then, oh no, is that Kissinger?
That could be Kissinger, you know.
I think
and
he's
if it
off.
Is, yeah.
So, and then Kissinger's
so that battle
in
now
Group
it's
8.
well and truly over, because it was going nicely until a moment. Yeah, it is Kissinger. So up until a moment ago, he was line abreast. Now Stabler goes up to second place in the BMW. So I'm not sure what Scott Kissinger did there, but it was on the straight, but I think he made a mistake, and now we're looking for him to see where he comes in. Here he is.
You know, you never think that a Porsche 914 is a big car until you see it behind a Lotus Elan. Then it looks like a boat.
Yep.
And look at this. So that's Paul Stinson right there in that Lotus 7. So he's got a huge advantage right now over that Datsun 510 in the aerodynamics and lightness. But the Datsun has a little bit more power. Yeah, exactly.
That's the disadvantage he's got. He doesn't want to get into the draft of it. He'll get a nice draft because he's so low, but he won't be able to see anything.
And so it looks like Kissinger's trying to get his power back. So he just went off, didn't hit anything, but he's going to be kicking himself for that. But I think he's going to put himself back up there with Chip Stabler here before the end of it in that BMW.
So classic circuit with classic cars. This circuit's been running since the late 50s. And back in the day, all the great cars have been here over the years, from Trans Am to sports car racing, IMSA, you name it. It's delighted to bring you the action from SVRA, and thankful that it's not in pouring rain. Yesterday, these guys were hooning round, especially the open-wheel Lotuses, in atrocious conditions.
In the Datsun, he's got the good brakes and balance there with the mid-engine car over that Datsun. Datsun's got the horsepower, but this is what I love about vintage racing, is you can really see the difference in the cars, and then the cars are all set up different. Like the difference between a 914, a Datsun 240, and a Lotus 7 is astronomical, but here they are racing nearly the same lap times. It's really fun to watch. All those cars look so different. They have totally different approaches to design, and there we've got Bill Glavin in that beautiful E30 M3, John Nash in that Lotus 7, and then I think, let me look at my reviews. He's in a new car to me.
Well, George Wright's behind him in the 38, yeah.
Oh, no, Linehan. Okay, so I'm messed up, sorry. My favorite car in this group, and I haven't seen a shot of it yet, is Sharon Edelman. She's got this beautiful blue Jannetta. She's number 3. Right now she's currently in 12th place, but I hope we get a shot of that. And then Caesar Cohn, who won the Gold Cup here years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, is in 19th place in the yellow Alfa Romeo. But, man, this Datsun 510 is really trying to get it to Paul Stinson. That's Steve Byrne in the Datsun 510.
Well, how do you decide, as we're looking at Scott Kissinger, he's managed to make it up to 4th again, but how do you decide to put Group 8 with Group 12B? How does that, in terms of
it's basically
understanding how the groups work?
A safety thing. So we have to, we get who's coming about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, and then we try to put them like, here comes a good pass right there. I think that's Billy Glavin right there coming into 11. But you don't really want to put open wheel cars.
Sure.
With box cars, production cars, and then you kind of base it on lap times and what cars, for me, from a video perspective or photo perspective, I like cars that look right on track.
Yeah,
I feel like this group, the Group 12 cars, a lot of them have an advantage over these Group 8 cars just because of years and technology and innovation, but they still look right on track. But I love the B sedans. So you've got the BMW 2002s, the Datsun 510s, and there's Rob Davenport in his Alfa Romeo right there.
That's a beauty, isn't it?
The prettiest B sedan made, I think, is that one. But while we're talking about B sedans, Jonathan, you mind giving up your headset? We've got a legend up here that I want to talk to, and he's going to join us maybe a little bit in this group and maybe a little bit in the next group. as we show the last lap sign, and we'll still call the race, but we have Phil Wicks. The first time I was ever in a race car, he sat next to me. We're both Mini enthusiasts, but Phil Wicks, if you've ever seen the original Italian Job, Phil Wicks drove the red car in the movie, the stunt driver. He drove it through the brick wall many times. We're going to get to that, Phil, because we got to finish this last lap.
Yeah.
But tell us what you're seeing. I know you've done some commentating in your past, so you tell us, because you've raced with these cars in the day.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm so pleased to see the Alfa lead him. I used to own an Alfa dealership in England, London, and I built and raced, you know, GT Sprints. I've never raced a GT6 like this car, but when I saw it earlier today, I was telling my Zapata teammates, watch that Alfa. They are fast. It's a flat six engine, mid-engine. So it's not front, not rear, mid-engine. The balance is beautiful, and if you can get them going like this guy's got it going, watch out. You know, you got a fast car.
And, you know, it's funny because being a Mini Cooper driver, and for you, it's all about balance, isn't it? You look at cars for balance and handling.
Well, that's right. I mean, Mini Coopers and the smaller bore cars, they're what we call momentum cars. You can't back off. You just got to keep your foot on the deck and keep going, giving it plenty of welly, as we say.
So there we go. We got Mark Brummond in Group 12 taking the checkered flag of VIRginia International Raceway. I love that new tower. It's a beautiful circuit, isn't it, Phil?
Oh, wonderful. I've raced it many times in this race. In fact, I've won the Gold Cup in my class 6 times in the small bore class in my Mini. Had many a battle with Sprites, Midgets and other Mini Coopers and Fiats and Fiat Arbas. Oh, yeah, I love VIR. It's definitely in my top 2 or 3 favorite tracks in America.
Yeah. So we've got Mark Brummond in first in Group 12. Chip Stabler, second place in Group 12. Coming in first in Group 8 is Scott Kissinger. He was able to rebound. Keith Dunbar, second in Group 8. Jim Lenahan, third in Group 8. Paul Stinson, fourth. Steve Byrne, fifth. And Billy Glavin, rounded out Group 12 top 3 in that beautiful E30. Look at this, a Ford Capri, and Rob Davenport going at it at the start-finish line. There's that beautiful Jannetta of Sharon Edelman. I love that car. And then our friend David Bearden, he should be coming up here pretty soon, correct? Where's David Bearden in that Porsche 911 RS? Some more Alphas. You got to love those Alphas. I like cars that are designed first for beauty and then for power. And there he is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Brummond, first place in the Alfa Romeo. So you run your race school at VIR, so you're really familiar with the circuit.
Yeah, we normally come here once a year. We haven't been able to come this year. Some domestic issues I had to take care of at home. Some serious domestic issues. My wife was sick with cancer for 2 years, and she finally passed away. So we're rebooting and revitalized, and we're coming back strong next year.
So how do we find your racing school?
Minidriving.com is the website. Go on there. We do teeth racing. Essentially, it's a driver improvement course. I would estimate there's probably about 10 racers here this weekend that have graduated to Phil Wicks Driving Academy.
That's awesome. So there we go. The Heacock Classic Gold Cup historic races. Mark Brummond first in Group 12. Chip Stabler second in Group 12. Scott Kissinger first and 8. Keith Dunbar second. Jim Lenahan third and 8th. And then Bill Glavin rounds out the Group 12 in his beautiful BMW E30. We're going to take a break here from VIR, but then we're going to be back with more fantastic racing and Phil Wicks here in the booth with us in just a little bit.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea.
Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
If my life is about making music, My drive needs to be all about hearing it.
You have to rely on your gear, the way it feels, the way it does exactly what you need it to do.
The F-Pace, how Jaguar
makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed. Whether you're customizing or building a car from the ground up, Hagerty protects your vehicle with guaranteed value coverage. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media. Manxy Johnny. Yeah, just to let you know, I've got a guest with me.
Well, that's the little bug-eye that went off this morning and got damaged.
So, as you can see, we are back at it again in SVRA. Jonathan Green here, and I'm joined again by Phil Wicks, who you just heard from a moment ago. This is the Heacock Classic Gold Cup live from VIRginia International Raceway. We welcome you to our live feed across the world, and we welcome you to vintage racing at its finest. And Phil, I know you're very nostalgic about this because you've been at it for as long as I can remember, just listening to a few stories for you, but what do you see down here in this group that's coming up?
Well, I'm so pleased to see that little lime green bug-eyed Sprite out there after it got quite severely damaged this morning in the wet in qualifying, where they've rebuilt the front end. He's pitted. Went to look at the car and they put suspension on it, I guess, and some bodywork, and there he is out there. And I raced bug-eyed Sprites at Monza, Clermont-Ferrand in the early 60s, but lightweight aluminum bodied versions, but not with a 1275 engine, with a 998 FJ Formula Junior engine. So yeah, very nostalgic. I guess most people would know me for my expertise in Mini Coopers. I say I've raced my little yellow Snoopy Mini Cooper here. I had 43 races in that car and won 39 of them. So
43 and 139.
And
when are you going to give the others a chance?
I am. I'm semi-retired now.
Okay.
So let's look for some Mini Coopers. We don't have any here today. I think they all stopped coming because
I think you scared them off.
Yeah. And there's a Lotus Cortina there, very 1965 Lotus Cortina, and all these wonderful old cars. I've driven and raced a lot of these makes and models. So Lotus 11 there. I got a student graduating my school in a Lotus 11. There's Carl George in his black MGA. He is the leader of Zapata Racing team out of Nashville, Tennessee, who I drove for and am still very close friends with, and monitoring and mentoring some of the drivers here this weekend in the Zapata team. So I'm really looking forward to this race. Yes, I do miss it. Will I do it again? I don't know. I'm 80, in my 80s now. So
just
we'll
beginning
see.
then?
Just beginning. I'm just a lad, yeah.
Just a wee lad. Who's it? Was it Bob Dances that I saw at Monaco the other year? He's still going at 84?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, delighted to have you, and you have a clear American accent like myself, so where do you originally come from?
Well, you'll understand this when I say it. South London.
South London,
He's
a South London boy.
That's right. But I'm a West Ham supporter.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but may they rest in peace, as my Ipswich Town will eventually.
It's a new year.
It's a new year. It's a new year. A West Ham fan unite. West Ham fan. Actually, to be fair, West Ham are doing very well these days. I can't be rude anymore.
Well, in as much as we're still in the English Premier League, just about.
Well, here we go then. Yep. This is our feature race for groups 1, 3, 4, and 5B, and a real assortment of fantastic cars, and Phil Wicks alongside me to enjoy it. Away they go. The Heacock Classic Gold Cup for Group 1, 3, 4 and 5B. And away they go, down to the famous horseshoe for the first time. A good solid field, and I said earlier, full of nostalgia. One car, number 7, coming out of the pit lane at the last moment. So whatever problem that was has righted itself, and he's back out in there. We just heard that was John Nash, in fact, in the number 7. But you mentioned that one of the cars got slightly damaged this morning. We had wet conditions, which must be pretty treacherous for these cars in the wet conditions. What do you spot in this group of cars that you want to talk about or like particularly?
Well, my Zapata teammates, of course. But, David Blakey is there in an MGB GT. I've driven that car. It's a good car. He's from Knoxville. There's Carl George in his MGA. That car wasn't running this morning, so well done, Carl. Got the car going. He didn't actually qualify, but it's there, running. Not at the front of the field, but hey, he's racing. That's the main thing. You're out there. You're doing it. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people look at vintage racing and they think, they're not really pushing it. I'll tell you what, they are. These guys race seriously, they race hard, and I actually think this is a lot harder than a lot of the modern cars we see racing these days, because they're all kept to their original spec, or as best as they can in terms of the regulations. So there's no sort of extra help here. You might be racing an old car, but you're not getting extra disc brakes or suspension added to it. These are a run as original as we can get them.
Yeah, there's aftermarket products on there, but they are to the spec. You can't change the suspension geometry and type of suspension. You can't change the engine. It's got to be the original type. But these small bore cars is what we call momentum cars. You've got to keep your foot in it. That's why in a Mini we were so lucky we did so well, both here and in Europe. You've got to keep your foot in it. Whereas a big V8 or something like that, it's got its own discipline and technique, obviously, and it's very, very demanding. But, at least if you don't go through a corner as well as you wanted to, you can put your foot down and make it up on the straight. Whereas these little cars, terminal speed at the end of the straight is decided by the exit speed of the corner preceding the straight. So here we go. Here's that little bug-eyed sprite. And, of course, there's some midgets there.
That Sprite's got an interesting roll cage. All of them do have these sort of quite enlarged roll cages that obviously weren't in the original. Off goes the 7A. Oh, and he's got into the dirt, and you can see how wet it is out there. That's Todd Cruz, and he's just cruised to a complete stop. But hopefully he'll get it going. But as I mentioned earlier, we've had so much rain here in the last 24 hours that it's going to be pretty hard to get out of there.
Well, as we say, grass is fast.
Grass is fast, that is very true.
You go off the track, hit the grass, you ain't going anywhere.
He ain't going nowhere, no question about it. But he's managed to keep it going. He was in 8th position when he went off. But sadly, one loss already. And go on, keep it in. Keep your foot in, son.
That's it. Give it some welly. There we
go.
Yeah.
So he's managed to keep it all together, but he did go very wide at the horseshoe, lost a shoe there, but he's back up and running. I was just talking about those roll cages. So those have been obviously put on there. They weren't. Did they have their original roll cage back in the day?
No, not in my day. We didn't run roll cages in the early 60s. Imagine Nürburgring.
Yeah.
No roll cage. Even Lotus Cortinas didn't have roll cages. But I think what you'll find is these roll hoops and roll cages are what SCCA demanded years ago when these were competitive cars. Now they're vintage. They're still competitive, but they're vintage competitive. These were cars that were racing for the overall wins. And the roll cages, SCCA demand the spec, and they're grandfathered in, if you will, you know.
Now, you're a member of the Self-Preservation Society, I believe.
Yep.
So tell me about that, because I know our viewers want to hear about that, because we all know about the Italian job.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I was living in Italy at the time, working for Lamborghini, 1967. And I knew Michael Caine.
Not a lot of people know that.
No, not a lot of people know that. Michael Caine, he likes birds. That's not what he used to say, but he liked birds. Anyway, to finance my early racing career, I was a barber. I worked in hairdressers in London, South London. And of course, Michael Caine.
Short back and sides?
Well, this was Tony Curtis curling and waving and perming.
Oh, right.
A lot of the would-be rock and roll bands of the day would come in and would-be actors. So I knew
Cliff Richard.
Yeah, I knew
Twiggy.
Michael Caine when he was Jamie Mitchellberg.
All right.
That's his real name, from the Elephant. His dad worked in Billingsgate Fish Market, and he'd be out and about in the clubs around the pubs around South London. And then when I'll be delicate about this, Shelley Winters discovered him in the movie Alfie.
Right. What's it all about?
Yeah. So he knew me, and he knew I was a mini racer, and he put my name forward, and I was one of the many stunt drivers, I will tell you. But I was living in Italy at the time, so it was convenient. Peter, the director, hired me to do some of it. Not all of it, but some of it.
So you basically got to star or be part of the Italian job.
Absolutely.
Have they ever got that gold back yet?
Well, there's another story.
I'm sure. I'd have to take you out for dinner to get all these stories, but that's great. So we do have genuinely somebody who was on the Italian job with Michael Caine, driving one of the stunt cars, Phil Wicks, and you run a school at the moment, right? You still do?
Yeah, we have a driving academy. Here we've got the yellow MGA. Here's a fellow teammate, Dave Nichols. We've had many a battle on here, he and I. I'm fortunate, I always come out on top, but he's a good driver, you know, very good. Yeah, so Phil Wicks Driving Academy, minidriving.com. It's not just for minis, I get everything, but I'm also quite big in the Fiat Arbach world.
Okay.
I was a works driver with Fiat Arbach, and my big moment in my life was when I was paired with Roy Salvadori to drive the Works Arbach.
One of the greats, yeah.
I was 24 years old, and my team, Radron Racing, said, well, we'll do the long distance races. And they said, we'll nominate our driver. And Arbach said, we'll nominate the other driver. And I thought, oh, you know, it's going to be Charlie France, his cousin or something. He said, well, it's Roy Salvadori. so I said, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that works.
I'll take that.
He just won them all,
Yeah,
you know. Anyway, back to, there's a Volvo. I love those old Volvos.
Gary Jepson in the Volvo. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it?
And I worked with Simon Templar, the Saint, that drove one of those in the series in England.
Yep.
Roger Moore died fairly recently.
What a rich and interesting career you've had.
Thank you, yeah. And I don't plan to stop either, I tell you.
Good, don't stop.
There we go again. Here's Dave Nichols in the...
Yeah, and that's the 284. He's currently in 9th position at the moment. David Nichols in 8th. And at the front, it's still Travis Engen and Chris Domingo. Is that right, Domingo?
Yeah.
Yep. Scott Fraser still in 3rd place as we watch our Heacock Classic here from VIR. The cars spreading out. And here's another good battle.
You know, it's wonderful to see that SVRA are continuing with the condition of vintage cars, even though we've got like the bigger and faster Trans Am cars and now the Mazda Miatas and such. But it's wonderful to see that they realise that vintage racing is big in America, and they are running races for us vintage guys.
And it just appears to be getting bigger and bigger. I mean, more events coming up, SVRA growing by the minute. And here in the middle of COVID, the entry list is phenomenal.
Isn't
how many
it?
groups we've got and how many cars we've got involved and how many people willing to come out and drive these cars, because it's no mean feat. I think there's quite a lot of skill involved in driving an older car, actually.
Well, yeah, and because let's not forget, if you hit something in one of these cars,
you'll know
you're
about it.
going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You are going to get hurt. Got the stainless still in my legs to prove it, but really, Fiat Abarth. But yeah, don't have deformable structures like modern cars. So you're relying on that roll cage.
Now, one car slowing off and coming out of roller coaster, midway through roller coaster, and has stopped on track. I'm not sure what that is. The drone giving us a really... Oh, and he's managed to turn it round and get it going again. But the drone obviously giving us a nice view of that, but he's turned it round. Well, my thanks to Phil Wicks coming in, and like he says, look him up. The original from the Italian Job, part of the Self-Preservation Society, as I like to call him. But look him up if you want to go and do one of his mini academies, or I would say take him out to dinner. He's probably willing to take a glass of wine off you or two, tell you a few stories. He only drinks beer now.
He's got the greatest stories.
I'll bet.
Yes, look him up. Phil Wicks, the guy that my first time in a race car he was sitting next to me in a Mini Cooper, 67 Bulldog.
Well, you had the right guy with you then.
Oh, yeah, but I'll tell you what's funny is I kept turning around the racetrack, and he said, turn it. And finally, about lap 3, he grabbed the wheel and just yanked it. And I was like, oh, that's what you mean. And I got faster.
Good. You have to learn. You have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, and it's a big. He's a big reason why I'm addicted to these little British sports cars.
Good for you. We're on the last lap then, and we're watching the number 1. Well, we're watching number 44 at the moment, but that's Joey Belland in 4th position.
No, he's in 1st.
Oh, he is in 1st.
Yeah, and I got to really brag on him. That Elva's been giving him fits. He was just at pit race last weekend and has had transmission problems and had to pull his transmission 2 or 3 times. But look at that. Now he's in 1st place, passing Charlie Cates right there in that Datsun.
Gives him a little nod to say thank you. Look how much he's moving the wheel, too. He's just really having to kind of just make the little adjustments here and there, but that's what it's all about.
Smooth as fast.
Smooth as fast. But what you don't see is how those minuscule moves make all the difference to keep it in the smooth line that they want it in.
That's correct. And what a great track. This is a very difficult track, and it's really hard to show on video just how difficult it is. And then being here in this part of the country, it's just ever-changing conditions.
Yeah.
So as soon as you dial it in, 3 laps later, it changes.
Yeah, it's weird, actually. It's got its own sort of biosphere around here. I've been here many a time, and you're right. When the weather comes in, it comes in fast and furious, and it's interesting, actually. It doesn't. I don't know, wherever you go, it doesn't matter whether it's Silverstone or VIR, there seems to be these mini weather systems above them.
And so that car right there, we were talking about the movie Grand Prix. and Italian job. That was the camera car for Grand Prix. It was owned by the director, and they used to set up shots with that car. He was telling me yesterday that he would take that around the track and then be like, I want to put a camera there, and then he'll go around and see where where it was sliding out. He's like, I need a camera there. So it's pretty neat. So you never know what's going to be around here with us in the vintage racing.
I know. There's so many stories about these cars, and all of them have a storied history. And every other driver that drives one, kind of adds to that. There's a compendium to be made of each and every car that's out there in vintage racing at the moment. And you're right, there's so many great stories. And it doesn't have to be a Le Mans winning story. It can be, like you say, a camera car story. Yep. And the reason why they chose that particular car for its height or,
Well, the owner, I guess the director of the movie already owned it and raced it, so he knew it.
So he knew it.
And he just used it.
So he was comfortable with it. There's the checkered flag then, and he takes it in the 44A. Nicely done.
That's a beautiful car.
Yeah, it is.
And he beat Travis Engen. Travis Engen in Group 5 in that beautiful Lotus 23B. It's not often you see a Lotus 23 get beaten by an Elva, but Joey is a really good driver. And Travis, we see him all the time. So Travis goes from, listen to this, a Lotus 23B to the Audi R8 LMP car.
That's
and
quite a change.
I don't know how he can, program his brain to think that, but he gets right out of that into that, and then he races a Formula B and an Indy Lights with us as well.
That couldn't be more juxtaposed.
There's Travis Engen there in the 23, and there's some of my favorites, the MGAs. I just think that's a sexy car. I have a 59 MGA. Love those. No, it wasn't Carl. I didn't see Carl George out there, but he's in the number 107 black MGA. Yeah.
So, classic display of great racing, and SVRA very much underway here at VIR. We've had some great Trans Am races today. We've got more tomorrow, but we've got SVRA all through the weekend, and some 12 groups in all, and various different cars. I was looking at some of them today. GT40s to NASCARs from the 70s to the odd Indy car here and there.
I always tell people, if you come to an event like this and you can't find something you like, then you're not a car person.
No.
It's because everything you can imagine is here and from every era. And, you walk around and, the neat thing about this, I've been a car person my whole life. But almost every event, I come to an event and I'm like, what in the world is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they're special, sometimes it's a one-off, but sometimes it's a car with a bunch of history.
So there you go then. The Group 5 winner, Joey Ballard in the Alpha. The Alpha getting the win over Jim Gwinner. Gwinner, that's how you say it. Travis Engen in third position and Michael Unger in fourth. Radovic and Uzdavanic and Thermal Porter, Nicholas and Gary Jepson rounding out the top 10 in that beautiful Volvo P1800. And that is the unofficial results of the Heacock Classic Gold Cup. We'll take a short break. We'll be back from VIR in a few moments' time. Stay with us.
I found a place in my heart.
The Range Rover Evoque.
Everything you touch, everything you feel is Jaguar, especially when you hit the accelerator.
Never stop creating, never stop innovating. Every day is a chance to show the world something it has never seen.
The I-Pace.
This is how Jaguar.
With our guaranteed value, unparalleled service and expertise, and savings of $264 on average, Hagerty has you covered no matter what's around the bend. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
I travel a lot. Whether it's a meeting in New York or a car auction in LA, I trust only Passport Transport to deliver my car. With their up-to-the-minute GPS tracking system, I know exactly where my car is at all times. They take the extra step to secure my vehicle's safety, and their pickup and delivery service is truly door-to-door. With Passport Transport, I know my car's in good hands, because they're car guys too. I'm Roger Van Ness, CEO of Kemp Auto Museum, and this is why I'm a Passport Transport customer.
Land Rover has reimagined an icon, and in doing so, has created an SUV for the 21st century. Challenged in the most demanding of terrains, not only did the new Defender survive, it thrived. We knew the only way to honor its heritage was to design a vehicle built for a new breed of explorers, as we reinvent the future of adventuring together. This is what makes the new Defender capable of great things. Land Rover, above and beyond.
I'm Willie T. Ribs. Meet my friend Brian Cook, a wealth advisor, who's one of us, a winner.
Both racing and finance are unpredictable. You want a pro team guiding you.
Brian and his team work hard to keep you winning in life, not just financially. Get to your goal faster and enjoy the drive more. Schedule a free conversation with Brian at Cook Wealth Management, SVRA's official wealth management company.
And join Brian and me in the winner's circle.
I found a place in my heart. I found a light in the dark. I found my heaven.
The Range Rover Evoque.
Everything you touch, everything you feel is Jaguar, especially when you hit the accelerator.
Never stop creating, never stop innovating. Every day is a chance to show the world something it has never seen.
The I-Pace.
This is how Jaguar delivers electric performance.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
When the road calls, we answer with our guaranteed value, unparalleled service and expertise, and savings of $264 on average. Hagerty has you covered no matter what's around the bend. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
I travel a lot. Whether it's a meeting in New York or a car auction in LA, I trust only Passport Transport to deliver my car. With their up-to-the-minute GPS tracking system, I know exactly where my car is at all times. They take the extra step to secure my vehicle's safety, and their pickup and delivery service is truly door-to-door. With Passport Transport, I know my car's in good hands, because they're car guys too. I'm Roger Van Ness, CEO of Kemp Auto Museum, and this is why I'm a Passport Transport customer.
Land Rover has reimagined an icon, and in doing so, has created an SUV for the 21st century. Challenged in the most demanding of terrains, not only did the new Defender survive, it thrived. We knew the only way to honor its heritage was to design a vehicle built for a new breed of explorers, as we reinvent the future of adventuring together. This is what makes the new Defender capable of great things. Land Rover, above and beyond.
I'm Willie T. Ribs. Meet my friend Brian Cook, a wealth advisor, who's one of us, a winner.
Both racing and finance are unpredictable. You want a pro team guiding you.
Brian and his team work hard to keep you winning in life, not just financially. Get to your goal faster and enjoy the drive more. Schedule a free conversation with Brian at Cook Wealth Management, SVRA's official wealth management company.
And join Brian and me in the winner's circle.
I found a place in my heart. I found a light in the dark. I found my heaven.
The Range Rover Evoque.
So, as you can see, we have more cars out on track. The sun just trying to get through and burst through the clouds in the background there here at VIR. Jonathan Green here, bringing you the action from SVRA, the Heacock Classic Gold Cup, live from VIR. And Ben Sissel alongside me, and looking forward to this. We've got a real interesting group.
Look at that. Hinkle is off already in the Harry Hinkle off in the warm-up laps.
Well, and it's wet out there, too.
It is. Well, let me go through the grid real quick. Tony Ave out there in the TA car. It's actually Jade Buford, not Scott Borchetta, in that Bill Elliott car. Followed by Bruce Raymond, our Group 10 winner last year. Michael Kiramonte, Paul Bacon, Dave Ricci, Stephen Davison. We just saw him in the Trans Am race. Timothy Haynes, Harry Hinkle, who we just saw spin in that Poncho Weaver Dodge Challenger. Michael Lang, David Roberts from Hawk Performance, Lance Ossick, Dave Handy. I didn't see Dave, but hopefully he's out there in the Fluff Daddy stock car. Larry Hoopa, Travis Engen out there again in that Group 11 car. Jack Finch, John Cloud, NASCAR Hall of Famer Ray Evernham.
That's cool.
Ricky Knuckles, David Porter, Donnie Gould, Mark Gobble, John Blizzard, Mark Sharon, and Samuel LeCompte. So it's a pretty big field. Right now we've got 25 cars. This is Group 10 and 11, and we also have some International GT cars sprinkled in there.
Yeah, this is a really interesting field of cars, and looking forward to seeing how these guys run here, especially as we've got some of the guys that look after some of the current TA and TA2 cars, like Tony Ave.
So there's Travis Engen right there in that Audi R8. I don't like the fact that he's starting so far back because that just kind of makes it dangerous for everybody. So look for he and David Porter. They just didn't want to qualify in the rain, which is totally understandable in those cars. Look for them to really pull out and just kind of take over this race.
And Scott, just because he's busy doing, well, he's doing SVRA, but he's also doing TA2, so he's a busy
no, it's
boy.
actually cooler. Jade Buford is Scott's sponsored NASCAR driver. Jade has been driving for Scott in all the NASCAR road races in the Xfinity Series.
Okay.
So he's given Jade some more experience in a fairly recent stock car that was a Bill Elliott road racing car.
Oh, that's a cool moment. Very cool. So as you can see, the Maserati that leads this pack will now take the lights off and peel off into the pit lane at the end of Roller Coaster and Hog Pen. And then we'll go racing. And that Bill Elliott number 9 looking rather nice indeed.
And look at that Mountain Dew. That's from like the Tommy Kendall, Dorsey Schrader era right there of Trans Am. Tony Ave's in that car. Tony Ave's a champion in Trans Am, snowmobiles, SCCA, so look for him to be giving us some schooling here.
So we're about to get underway, and away they go! Fantastic sight and a fantastic sound. And away they go, and immediately the number 9 is overtaken for the lead. And it's going to be Tony Ave who picks up the lead. And that fantastic roar. We're in the crow's nest, so we're getting complete surround sound here. Mustang in 3rd position. Aston Martin's there.
Talk about a mixed group of cars right here.
Yeah, I noticed the Peugeot about to come into shot now. That's a really interesting car.
Yeah. So that's David Porter. We just saw him in that beautiful red Lotus Cortina. And now he's out there in the Peugeot. And that was John Blizzard right there with International GT in our Group 10 GT class in that Porsche Cup car.
And again, how do you decide the groups? Just again, it's the more
on this one. We only have 2 Group 11 cars. Those 2 LMP cars. Actually, there's a few Group 11. Some of those Corvettes are categorized as that, but it's based on lap time, safety, and then time allotted that we have in the day. Normally SVRA doesn't like to put those cars on track together, but it's the only option because there's only so much daylight.
Yeah, and the point is you want them to run well, you want them to run fairly, but you also want to give them a competitive chance. And make sure that they can get some racing in. You don't want a car that is so much faster or so much different than the other cars that they can actually have a decent race together.
I agree, but personally, even though they didn't qualify for safety, I think I would have put the 2 LMP cars out front.
Okay. Fair enough. They'll get a chance to come through.
No comment from Ken Fangler from International GT behind us. Is going to join us here in the booth because he's got some racers with him.
Well, we saw the International GTs out this morning. They look great. Really good.
It's the best racing. It was so much fun to watch, and he had a great outcome in his morning racing. But look at this. We've got a lot of stock cars, some TA2 cars. We got Breathless Racing. Beautiful car with John Cloud right there. There's Ray Evernham in that in the blue GT1 Corvette. And, you know, the cool thing about Ray Evernham, Hall of Famer, NASCAR, Jeff Gordon's crew chief in the Jeff Gordon heydays. He's starting his own series, SRX, with Tony Stewart. He's just out here to have fun. He loves racing. He's really trying to get in the discipline of road racing. He brought Scott Borchetta to SVRA and Trans Am, and he just wants to be out here to have a good time in the social aspect as Travis Engen gets forced out because he can't see. Those cars are really hard to see in.
That's the 789 going out, the Porsche.
Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 789.
Yep.
Look at that wing.
That's a big old wing, isn't it?
It's got wing extensions.
Yeah. You have to go to the hairdresser to go there. Still didn't stop him from going off track, though.
No. It's the front wing, I guess.
Yeah. So we're underway here. And I'm glad to say conditions are a lot better than they were. It may look a bit dreary out there in terms of sunlight, but compared to what we've had in the last 48 hours here, this is a joy.
Look at this car here, this Porsche, silver Porsche of Bill Riddell coming through there. If you ever get a chance to come to one of our races at International GT, really get up close to that car. Beautiful car. As now it looks like the Trans Am cars are coming by, followed by the stock cars right there. It's a really neat field to watch. That was Samuel Lecomte right there in the old stock car. And a lot of these stock cars were set up for road racing, and some of the guys buy oval cars and then reset them up for road racing.
So Tony Arve leading, as we mentioned earlier. Borchetta not taking part. It's Jay Buford, actually, who's at the wheel of the second place number 9 Bill Elliott car. Bruce Raymond in third position.
There's Harry Hinkle right there in a Weaver car. Actually, there's 2 modern Poncho Weaver cars in this group. And actually, the car we were talking about from Mark Sharon was the car that Boris said won here just 2 years ago and is out there in the vintage racing in the Monster Energy Dodge Challenger. But that's Harry Hinkle there battling with Sam Lecomte. Sam Lecomte is a normal with us in Group 6, but this weekend he decided to race a stock car.
And these stock cars are a real handful on these road circuits, no question. They are in the real deal, and they are certainly in a vintage race for sure.
I'm going to give it over now to Ken Fangler, that he's going to join you, John, in the commentary booth, talking about he's been around vintage racing for years.
Come on, Ken. Come on,
so
Dan.
He knows these guys probably better than I do, but also can talk about the International GT in Group 10.
Welcome aboard, Ken. What are you seeing? What are you enjoying out there? I can see one of Boris Said's old Monster Energy Poncho Weaver cars out there. He said that was the first one that he raced in Trans Am, sort of in the modern era.
Yeah, well, no doubt. What we're looking at is a mixed bag of nuts, okay?
And, yeah, exactly. And that includes the drivers.
But they're very tasty, quite honestly. And
salted or not?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But
fair enough.
You know, it's you know what? So far, so good. It is a mixed group. You can see the times. Yeah, that's a little skid off in the grass. They
Paul Bacon.
They go much faster on the green stuff than they do on the tarmac at times.
Yeah.
Pretty darn slippery. But a few of our International GT cars, and we're very thankful that, Tony and his staff allows the International GT guys to jump in and grab some more track time and enjoy some other racing with the SVRA cars. There's Tom Pank, our third place overall car this morning in that blue and green 42 car. That's an interesting line.
Look at this traffic jam coming down the back straight as we go back to the leader, Tony Arve. Well, Tony's not forgotten how to race, has he?
No, Tony's doing the do there, no doubt. And, a very popular car. I remember when that was out on the Trans Am circuit. And, it's great to see those cars still running. David Porter in the Peugeot, I know he was chomping at the bit to get behind the wheel, sitting in his home in Connecticut. just waiting to get back racing, and I'm glad it's dried out, and he's actually.
Now, is that Peugeot an IMSA car or a Le Mans car?
I believe it's a Le Mans car, because I don't remember a Peugeot car in IMSA.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So, yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. Peugeot basically only race to go in Le Mans, really.
Yeah, and David does some racing in Europe. He has a great collection of cars, as we saw earlier in the smaller group, and I'm sure he's just enjoying his day out on the racetrack finally. And in these times, we're thankful for any racing we can get to do.
Yeah. Now, Ken, obviously you're involved in the International GT. We know that. They were in action this morning. Good field, good strong field. I watched the race. Really good stuff, and they're going to be back in action again.
Yeah, raced around 5:30 this afternoon, and we had a good first race. We were on the damp stuff kind of this morning. We erred on the side of caution. We did a single file start and kind of restricted that start to just get the race underway. The guys had a great race. Once they got in the groove, we really had some competitive racing, and that's the way we like to see. They're all are able to continue for race 2, and that's the prime objective.
Exactly right. And like we said, we've got some 12 groups out here, a really, really interesting field of SVRA cars, and Tony Parella and people like Ken putting these groups of cars together each and every weekend and putting on a real show for everybody. And I say a show because they're racing hard. It's not an exhibition by any means. These guys are racing full throttle and putting these cars through their paces each and every weekend. And they are at all the iconic circuits around the United States.
Well, hats off to the crews and teams that prepare these cars, because it's not easy to keep an older race car just continuing. As parts become harder to get, you have to manufacture things and go things. It's not you just go down to the parts store and pull it off the shelf and then away we go. And our hats off to these people.
That's what always astounds me is that, like I said, they're racing hard and you don't know what's going to fall off, break or whatever. And yet, how do you travel from race to race with an old car knowing what it needs?
Well, I think that, the drivers are the ones out there sitting in the seat and doing it. And, it is basically you rely on the professional. I think that the vintage, scene has stepped up, and it's left some people behind. It's not so much the guy wrenching his own car. There's only so much one person can do. And, for example, pilots don't fix their own airplanes, all right? And, you're up in the air. You've got to rely on professionals. And, these cars are prepared by professionals, and hats off to them. And that's the only way it's really going to work, because quite honestly, as you say, they're not parading around and they're going quickly. So, they've got to do it safely and rely and put their confidence in the preparers of these cars.
Well, Ray Everham, the man we were talking about earlier, up to 3rd place now after 4 laps, and doing a really good job too. Just behind Jay Buford, Tony Arve continuing to lead this race. And as you can see, we go all the way back to 21 cars in all. So a big field of cars. And here is our leader, with the famous green and white Mountain Dew sponsorship.
Yeah, I think I remember that as a Tommy Kendall car. And there's a gentleman out of Orlando who was a grocery distributor, and he was able to twist the arm of the likes of the soft drink manufacturers to get a little shelf money to put on the side of the race car. John, and it'll come to me, but that was a great time when those cars are out there, as it is now. We talk about the good old days, but I got to say, John Cleggett and his group at Trans Am, the good old days are now in Trans Am. They are. It's a great show, great field of cars.
Oh, that's not what we want to see at all. A car in flames, and it's the 24. And let's hope.
I think that'll burn out. I think that's exhaust.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Burn coming out the side exhaust. Good for a barbecue. Forgot the marshmallows and the weenies, but yeah, that was coming out the side exhaust. So I guess a lot of fuel dumped into the system.
And that was Ray Everingham, who was up to 3rd place. So real shame for him.
Well,
no, he's reignited it.
Yeah, really. You'd think he'd had sponsorship from Bic, or a lighter manufacturer.
He's trying to get it going again. That's why he's refiring it himself.
Well, he has no shortage of fuel in that system, I'd say.
No,
I know, no doubt about that. The only thing he was missing was the charcoal briquettes. That's about it.
Well, it's a good place for a barbecue.
Yeah.
So you're listening and watching SVRA from VIRginia International Raceway, and we've got a real classic field of, varying cars, from Porsche that you're looking at now to this particular GT40.
GT40, yeah, Ford, yeah.
With a real modern scheme on. It's rare to see one with a modern scheme like that.
Well, that's a modern car.
There you go.
That's the last generation of the Ford GT. And that car has been running for years in vintage, but that's the last generation, so of about 10 years ago.
That's before the last iteration for the special, right?
Right, exactly. To be continued.
To be continued.
They might
yeah,
say.
we got one of those in Austin, one of the sort of like speciality one. I call them speciality, but they only made 50 or so, and they were like you had to bid to get one.
Yeah.
Whereas these were actual production cars.
These were production cars, and and it's amazing. They sat for the longest time on the resale market and the auction market at about 130 to 170,000 forever, and I didn't quite understand it. They hardly bumped off to what they sold for new, and then all of a sudden the cars just launched into the 350, especially if it was a Gulf livery car, 350 to 450, and now with the new car out, there's no doubt the cars are in that $400,000 to $500,000 range, but they sat forever. It was one of the best bargains going out there. If you wanted a limited production exotic made by Ford, a tribute car, so to speak, modern running gear, for $130,000 to $160,000, you could have had one.
Yeah, and I'm sure the movie didn't do him any harm.
Well, that came later, and certainly, no doubt, that made things everyone famous, so to speak.
So, final lap then of this particular race. More to come from VIR. And we've had fire and flame and some good racing.
Yeah, a little bit of fire and rain, as they might say.
Exactly.
We've had that this weekend.
No question about it. And here comes Tony Arve leading the way, still passing cars as he comes down roller coaster. Coming towards the checkered flag. This is the final lap then. Tony Arve, team owner now, of course, and continuing to race his team in Trans Am, takes the checkered flag and wins here at VIR. Another win for the Mountain Dew car. Coming across the line in second place, Jay Buford in the number 9. And it looks as though David Porter will take third place, and Ray Everingham, having gone up in flames just slightly anyway from the exhaust and pulling out and onto the grass while he was challenging for third place. But John Cloud making it up to fourth ahead of Travis Engen. Well done to Tony Arve in the number 16 NASCAR. And the LMP1 cars also scything their way through the fields. A little bit more power, a little bit more pace, but a very good display. Who's your favorite for the International GT then?
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of surprises. There was this morning. Shannon Henford is a rookie, new with IGT, okay? But made a good run at it, but made a mistake down in one and got into the 39 car into Jim Matthews, and Jim was leading, and he honestly admitted the mistake, took both of them back, moved them back on the grid, and young Lucas Pank came in first, so it's anybody's deal, and the bottom line is
so
they had fun doing it.
So the Panks brothers or father and son?
Father and son. We have two father and son teams, the Tom and Lucas Pank, and John Brown, and then I gotta say James Brown, and Papa's got a brand new bag. That's I just wanted to say that. So
yeah, you've got to get that in.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ken,
for filling in. For I gave Ben a break here, but thank you again to SVRA, the staff, for inviting International GT and allowing him to run in Group 10 and be part of the show, and also for all the corner workers and staff here at VIR that, hey, when people are sitting home still figuring out how they're going to get back on track, we're on track. So
I love it.
So great to see you, and thanks, and we look forward to the rest of the weekend.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Tony Arve then with the Ford Mustang takes the win here in Group 10 ahead of Jade Buford. David Porter in third position. Travis Engen, John Cloud, Bruce Raymond, Bill Riddell, Jack Finch, Dave Rishi in ninth position, and Tom Pank, the man we were just talking about, in the top 10 for the Heacock Classic Gold Cup historic race for Groups 10 and 11 in their first race of the weekend.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street-legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a V, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street-legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
If my life is about making music, my drive needs to be all about hearing it.
You have to rely on your gear, the way it feels, the way it does exactly what you need it to do.
The F-Pace, how Jaguar
makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed. Whether you're customizing or building a car from the ground up, Hagerty protects your vehicle with guaranteed value coverage. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
If my life is about making music, my drive needs to be all about hearing it.
You have to rely on your gear, the way it feels, the way it does exactly what you need it to do.
The F-Pace, how Jaguar
makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed. Whether you're customizing or building a car from the ground up, Hagerty protects your vehicle with guaranteed value coverage. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
If my life is about making music, my drive needs to be all about hearing it.
You have to rely on your gear, the way it feels, the way it does exactly what you need it to do.
The F-Pace, how Jaguar
makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed. Whether you're customizing or building a car from the ground up, Hagerty protects your vehicle with guaranteed value coverage. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
If my life is about making music, my drive needs to be all about hearing it.
You have to rely on your gear, the way it feels, the way it does exactly what you need it to do.
The F-Pace, how Jaguar
Makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed. Whether you're customizing or building a car from the ground up, Hagerty protects your vehicle with guaranteed value coverage. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea.
Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
I found a place in my heart. I found a light in the dark. I found my heaven.
The Range Rover Evoque.
Everything you touch, everything you feel is Jaguar, especially when you hit the accelerator.
Never stop creating, never stop innovating. Every day is a chance to show the world something it has never seen.
The I-Pace.
This is how Jaguar delivers electric performance.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
When the road calls, we answer with our guaranteed value, unparalleled service and expertise, and savings of Hagerty has you covered no matter what's around the bend. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Down the back straight they go, and the light not great at the moment with the clouds sort of forming in the background. But we've had a little bit of sunlight. Maybe I'm a glass half full because we haven't had much.
But compared to yesterday, it's been pretty nice.
So the leaders coming past. Once more time, a beautiful raw sound there of Hobie Booper. And he does a 2:02.385 to set us in motion. He's some 3 seconds up the road than those chasing him. So really impressive in just one lap.
I got to give a shout out to Peter Kraus. Worked his way to third. And he is like, we mentioned him at Mid-Ohio during this race. He is kind of the S2000 guru, and there he is in the black 9 group. There he is right there. Peter Kraus, number 91. He is the SVRA instructor. He helped with our driver's school this year. He knows VIR very, very well, was here in the rebuilding phases of it. And I'm proud of him for breaking up to the front of this pack of S2000 cars. And then his student, Ben Sennett, is the one right in front of him. So the student has become the master.
Well, no, he's behind surely Sennett.
No, Ben Sennett's in second, and Peter Kraus is right behind him. That's what I mean. The student's become the master.
There you go.
He's trying to catch a student now.
Another good, strong field of, some 26 cars in this one. And that's what amazes me, just how many cars we get in each set of races here in SVRA. Just a really, really good. I mean, I know we put the groups together, but at the same time, it's still great to have a field of some 26-plus cars.
Yeah, look at Dave Handy there, really trying to get under John Thompson to catch that draft down this long back stretch. And I hope we get some shots of these GT40s near the back of the pack because they are so pretty. And there's about 4 or 5 of them racing in a group.
Yeah, I had to look down their pit earlier yesterday just to see them being prepared, and they are as glorious as you'd expect them to be. And like you say, to watch them race line astern is even better. That's where we are in that little hut, so to speak. Here comes the leader. He's now extended that lead, and he does another 2:02.3. Let's see where the second place man is, but he had a 3.5 second lead, and now it's extended to over 5.9 seconds, so almost 6 seconds ahead now. So he's flying at the moment. In fact, that lap was a 1:57.6, so he's
Nathan Sigliano coming up on Dave Handy, trying to take the inside there. He gave it a look.
Quite pull it off, but hey.
But look for him to do that again.
You get the feeling with these smaller cars that there's maybe just a few more opportunities.
There he goes.
The outside at NASCAR. That's not something you see very often.
No, and I feel like maybe Dave Handy's having some trouble, maybe missed a shift or something, because that's not like him to give that up that easily. There's some of those GT40s.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's Kenneth Arters right there in the 51. Beautiful car.
Well, I've got Thomas Kane in the 51, but
that's
different group.
Yeah, that's a different group.
Kenneth Arters currently 22nd overall and first in Group 7.
He's 51A.
I got you. Yep. Yeah, that is a lovely looking car, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at the lines on that thing. And there's another one right there in front of it. See, you don't get to see too many GT40s anymore, and here we have like 5 or 6 in this group. That's Harry Mcpherson right there, racing with Dennis Altoff. I was asking Dennis to come up here and do some commentating because his dad raced GT40s back in the day in South Africa and all over Europe. So there they come up the S's.
And out of 12, they come back on the gas early on.
That's Gary Johnson in that beautiful red GT40 with the white stripes. I'd love to see what that feels like around this track.
Yeah, especially going down a long straight like that. You can sort of put yourself back on the Malzahn straight.
Yeah.
And imagine what it must have been like back in the day.
That's James Cullen right there in the Lola T70, another one of the Althoff Racing. It was Althoff Racing that kind of brought all these GT40s and the Lola T70s, and Sasko's got one with them. But beautiful cars, really fun to watch. But as you can see, that would be hard to see out of. Now, he's got a lot more horsepower, having a big block American V8, but then those little nimble S2000.
And forces him off track almost.
Break, don't hit the wall. Nice. Oh, man, if had that happened in the morning, he'd be stuffed into the wall, but it's dry just enough.
Just enough.
James Cullen, nice driving right there. Way to recover, buddy.
Well, and really, it was no fault of the man on the inside. He did have the power, but he ran out of road.
No, I think James was trying to match his braking points, and that's just not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
S2000.
Well, he's got lucky there, because as you say, you do not want to damage one of these things.
No, that's a beautiful car. James races all kinds of cars with us. You've seen him sometimes in a 914. He races that. He just loves racing.
Well, he's got it back out on track, and it's all in good nick.
Yeah.
I like the extended mirrors so he can see something at least.
Yeah, gets passed by that GT40.
Yeah, that's the number 51 that we've seen earlier.
Yeah.
And he's now ahead of the number 5 and the number 66.
I want to get a good shot of that Golf GT40 there, the number 6 of Harry Mcpherson. That's a beautiful car. It's going up the S's. There's our leader.
Hobby, you call him.
I call him Hobie.
Hobie Burbach. I like it. Great name.
That's a pretty car. I mean, I have that car in a slot car, and it corners just about like that. And then you get up close. If you go to the Sasko trailer, you get up close to that car. It is beautiful. It's like a Concours show car. You wouldn't think that guy's ever raced it in his life, and he's always out here racing. It's a beautiful car. They really keep it in good shape, and it's a fast car.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at the condition they keep them in because, like I said, all the dirt and dust and grit and marbles from the tires get clagged up under the cars, and they put them back right by the next day, and they're absolutely glorious by the time they come out.
So that's Mac McCombs there in that red GT40. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. And I'll tell you a funny story. So Mac and the number 6, the blue Golf GT40.
McPherson, yeah.
They switch, I think, like every year. They switch cars. And one has, I think, a 351 in it. One has a 302 in it. So once, and it drives Dennis crazy because once one gets really used to it and gets really fast, then they switch. And they have a little bit of a learning curve because, you know, it's a little bit of a weight differential. But they're both really fast, and there's nothing better than seeing those two battling it out on the track at the same time.
And here's back with the leader, number 82. And this is the final lap as he comes down through roller coaster one more time at the famous VIR and out of Hog Pen. And takes the checkered flag. There it is. And of course, they'll be back in action again tomorrow, another feature race for them. This a full weekend of SVRA and Trans Am, doubleheader for Trans Am after the cancellation of Watkins Glen. And sadly, also Lime Rock not going to be taking part there, so we're doing a doubleheader at Road Atlanta. SVRA will be in action again at COTA. And no major dramas except for the one GT40 going off track, but luckily stopping in time.
Yeah, that was close. That was a Lola T70, but it almost hit the wall. I think this morning, in the morning dew, he would have hit the wall hard.
Yeah.
But because it's dried up, he was able to get on the brakes smoothly and miss the wall, so we really appreciate that.
So just past 5 o'clock local time. Rather dreary day here at VIR, but the racing absolutely electric at the moment, and everybody enjoying being out of the house, so to speak, and back out to a racetrack. Sadly, no fans, and this always gets a good crowd, VIR. But not today. Confirmation of the result then. Hobie Booper with the Lola T70 taking the win over Ben Sinnott. John Thompson in third position. Sigliano in fourth position. Kraus in fifth. Then James Farley, Philip Meany Jr. and Peter McLaughlin in eighth position. Thomas Kane and Greg Miller. That rounds out the top 10. The Swift in 10th position. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more from the Heacock Classic Gold Cup historic races in a moment.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street-legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
The F-Pace.
How Jaguar makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
A marathon coach owner is someone who expects exploration and relaxation to blend flawlessly. For the most reliable, luxurious motor coach on the market today, look no further than Marathon Coach. Indulge that wanderlust, leave any cares behind, and lead a life filled with adventure. Join the Marathon family and take your 5-star hotel with you.
When the finish line calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance protection from Hagerty. Whether you drive a built racer, sports car, or exotic, and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com. When the road calls, we answer. Hit the road with insurance that protects your classic for what it's actually worth and save an average of $264. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
On behalf of SVRA, we'd we'd like to congratulate Range Rover on its 50th anniversary, and we thank Jaguar Land Rover for their continued support over the years.
Heacock Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Heacock leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Heacock Performance brake dealer near you at heacockperformance.com.
Everywhere I look, I see light and shape. And some shapes are just more beautiful than others.
I think about lots of things when I drive. The cost of scheduled maintenance certainly isn't one of them.
So here we are at VIR once again, and we've got some more classic racing coming your way. And I have to say, you've had your favourites. These are mine, Ben Sissel, because I love them. Give me some Mustang, give me some 60s, give me some Corvettes. Particularly love that 05 Corvette of Scott Borchetta's. I know he's the owner of it, but I also watched him race it last night at COTA against Jody O'Donnell, and it was such a cracking race.
Yeah, that was fun, and those guys so equally set up, and they had an absolute blast. I'll tell you a funny story. We're showing the 05 right now. It broke at Road America on Sunday, the engine. Dylan, the mechanic, with Scott Borchetta, they drove back from Road America to Nashville, put the engine in. They said they've slept better here than they did in the last week, because so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they put a new engine in, rebuilt the rear end, did all the normal maintenance stuff, and then drove here Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they didn't get much sleep.
Wow. I tell you, it's a tough. It seems very glamorous, this motor racing thing, but it ain't really, is it?
No, but you love it. If you're doing
Absolutely.
it, you love it. So even though you're probably complaining about that, you also love it because it's challenging. It's a lot of fun. There's a time involved. But you were talking about this, so we've got Ford Mustang GTs, a Ford Boss 302 from 1970 with John Cloud, Peter Dolan Mustang GT 350, some Shelby GT 350s in there. One of my favorites that I've got cameras in right now, Gary Moore in the Mercury Cougar, Shelby Mustang Corvettes. Frank Markham is in an AC Cobra. There's a Jaguar E-Type.
Now that seems like the odd one out.
Yeah, there's two E-Types, a Z28, a Porsche 911. And so this is going to be a fun field. There's also a Ford Mustang FR 500. There's that Cougar. You don't see many Cougars racing. There's Scott Borchetta in that big block Corvette. And then Jade Buford, who we saw earlier in the Bill Elliott stock car, is out there in the small block Corvette you call. Oh, more oil dry. Wow.
I know, a lot down the back straight there, as you can see.
Or is it snowing on the back straight?
It could be. We've had every other kind of weather this weekend. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of oil gone down, and I think they're just trying to get rid of some of it by going over it, because obviously that's going to be a real dust cloud on the first lap or so. Yeah, like I said, these are. I love these cars. This is the history of Trans Am a little bit, and great to see how these cars are kept so well. I think that's just because I want to own one of these cars. Not that I can afford one, but well, there you go.
Actually, there's a car very similar to that car right there in the front for sale. I saw it in the advertisements in our bathrooms for about $7,800. A race car, fully prepared race car.
Stop hanging out in bathrooms. That'll get you. You'll end up with a race car before you know where you are, or in more trouble.
Pace car's in.
Here we go. Pace car's in, and we're racing again in SVRA at VIR. And a host of muscle cars heading for the start.
Green flag.
And a beautiful sound as the green flag waves for the Heacock Classic Gold Cup Group 6 and Group 12A as they roar into action. And the poleman leads them into the horseshoe for the first time. But round the outside goes the 81 and into second place. Or does he slot there, the Mustang? He's trying, he's holding it in, he's keeping his foot in. But he's going to lose out to the 23 of John Cloud. Been a busy day for John Cloud.
Yeah, John Cloud was with us in the TA2 race in his Camaro, and now here he is in the Boss 302 in second place. Gary Moore looking to the inside.
Ooh, yeah, that's a risky move going into left hook. But he's going to get one if he's not careful.
Yeah, and the funny thing, Gary told me, I was putting cameras on his car, he says, I've never raced at VIR, and the only laps I've ever done here are in downpouring rain. So this is his first time racing at VIR in the dry.
Well, that was a pretty good start. If that's the case, under the bridge they come, through Snake, and up towards the top of the hill at 10. And as you said earlier, that's a really cracking corner. And as you can see, as they come to the crest of that, it's blind almost. And then slides from side to side, and then you go back downhill and into 11 and 12 for Oak Tree, and then down that back straight. And we'll see the smoke and dust. It's not smoke, but the dust from the dry oil. Here you go.
So
some avoiding it, some not.
This is Group 6 and Group 12. So just kind of look, you saw that modern Corvette or more modern Corvette or the more modern Mustangs up front. Those are Group 12 cars. And then Group 6 cars are basically, I think, older.
That was the 98 cars that just got out of the pits.
Jade Buford in the BP production.
Now, did he take the start, or is
I
he
don't
just
think
starting
so. I
from
think he's
there?
just going out.
Okay. So down the roller coaster they come, and it is the Griffin car leading the way.
So Jonathan, we have a guest joining us here in a lap. His name is Rick Parent, and he is the head of our tech, and hopefully he's going to be able to answer some questions as we go. Look at this, John Cloud coming to the inside right now of Jeff Lindstrom. Jeff is able to outbrake him. He's got a little bit more modern brakes, but Rick Parent is in charge of all of our tech, and he makes sure and he groups all these cars. We've been talking about the groupings. So, Rick, I know you've built a lot of these American muscle cars, some Penske Camaros, some of the most historic cars. But first, can you explain to us, right now here we've got a Group 12 and a Group 6 car. What are the major differences?
The difference basically between, thanks Ben, the difference between Group 12 and Group 6 is Group 12 is the more modern types of cars that run very well with the Group 6 cars. They're very similar in lap times. They don't look the same because they're newer, but they're obviously in different groups, and it puts on a good show.
So I'm going to put you on the spot like we used to do Rick's picks. If you look at this field right here, who are some of your favorite drivers, or well, actually not drivers, what are your favorite cars in this field?
Oh, they're all my favorite.
No, you can't say that. Come on now.
Gary Moore is driving a Cougar this
That's
weekend.
my favorite.
And he drives the heck out of that thing. He used to drive a GT350 and still has that, but is enjoying this a lot more. And his comment about this car is it's 2 inches longer and it handles completely different, but he's doing better and faster in this than he was in his GT350. So that's kind of cool.
That is cool. So there's Ray Zisa, right, in the yellow Corvette. So what delineates that is a Group 12 just because it's a more modern car than like that Mustang right there?
That's correct. That he's driving an old Motorola Cup car, and the Group 12 rules basically say that you have to have your car prepared as it was in that particular period of time. So it's not a full-on race motor. They're more stock, but it is a race car, so it fits in well with this group, like I said.
And there's Scott Hackinson's old car right there, and that's Brian Dolan, and it's still in the Cobra thing. So, Scott, we miss you, but I love seeing Brian Dolan out here still staying with Cobra. And look at that, John Cloud has now is he now in first, but just getting past? And do we know, is that John Cloud or is that Wally Dallenbach?
I don't know who's in the car.
Yeah, so when we say Wally Dallenbach, we mean the Wally Dallenbach. They go back and forth in that car, and really just for fun. John loves having him in there.
Yeah, John drives the wheels off that thing. For an old guy, he does really good.
Yeah, he does. And then there's Scott Borchetta. I was telling the story about Scott. They had to basically rebuild, or they put a new engine in. They had a spare engine in their shop Monday, Tuesday. They put a new engine in. And so there he is in the 05 Corvette. And I know you've worked a lot with them. So tell us a little bit about when somebody like Scott Borchetta or any driver calls and says, can I do this? Can I not do this? What can I do? And you're constantly making sure they're staying within the rules. Explain some of those conversations.
Well, with Scott, when he showed up, knew nothing about him, didn't know who he was. He just had a Corvette, and he was asking all the right questions on car preparation. And that does everything, because he didn't want to spend his money inappropriately, because nobody likes to spend their money and go backwards, have to redo things. So him and his crew have done a fabulous job of preparing both of those cars to the rules perfectly. And he spent the time and effort and learned how to drive it, and I suspect he'll be up there at the front shortly.
Yeah, well, he just took second place over John Cloud. Phil Lasco is in first place right now, and Phil is in the Group 12 GT. He also races with us in TA2, but there's a shot of Phil Lasco right there coming over. And so, like, what race group would this have raced in its day? I don't know either. But, it's one of the hardest parts of your job. Like, I look at, like, Trans Am as a series. If you're the tech person for Trans Am, you only have 5 groups of cars to tech. You have 70 years of cars in, let's say, 15 to 20 different race groups and classes and sanctioning bodies, and you have to figure out where they all fit. That's got to be impossible.
It's true. It's true. A lot of the groupings that we've had have been around for 30 years. So they're pretty standard. Everybody knows what the rules are. But bringing the new cars into SVRA, like Phil's car here, we have to do the research. We have to know where it ran, under what specifications, and the car has to be ran in those specifications, because once a Group 12 car gets over-modified, it goes to Group 10, where you really don't want to be with one of those cars.
See, that's good advice right there. So if you're looking at building a vintage race car, buying a vintage race car, the best thing to do is make sure it's already set up per the rules, or call the tech inspector first, because he will save you a ton of time and a ton of money in making sure the car is set up right, just like Scott Borchetta's team did. And that way, you're never going to be put into the wrong group, because if you set it up to the rules, you're going to be having a lot more fun racing, probably spending less money. That's smoke.
That's oil. That's oil for sure.
There was oil. No, that's oil, yeah. Scott Borchetta may close in on Phil Lasco here. It looks like he's burning a little oil, doesn't it?
He needs to get offline or something there before something bad happens. We've had too much oil on the track today.
Yeah. I don't know. All right,
and
so let's call it, Rick. This is the last lap. Is Scott Borchetta going to catch him?
I believe he just has, yes.
He's getting up to him. Coming up over the roller coaster. Turn 14 right there. More smoke out of the car.
Good.
He's putting smoke into – oh, that was tire smoke. He's putting smoke into Scott Borchetta's windshield. Scott should have the power to out-drag him here. Let's see what he can do here. So that's Phil Lasco right there in the red Mustang, followed by the little red Corvette of Scott Borchetta coming to the last turn. Hog pin down the last straight. I think Lasco might have him.
Yeah. Yep.
Checkered flag is out.
Boy,
Phil Lasco takes it Group 12. Scott Borchetta wins in Group 6. So, Rick, will you come back tomorrow and explain another group with us?
I'd be glad to.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's Rick Parent, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to set up your car, you can go on our website, SVRA.com, and you'll find Rick's email there. But before you set up a car or consider buying a vintage race car, talk to Rick Parent, and he will save you time, money, and a lot of grief. So Rick Parent at SVRA.com, and find his email, all of his contact information there, and he will make you happy. Thanks, Rick. So Phil Lasco takes the lead, but may not be in the race tomorrow, because I think he's got some possible catastrophic engine problems. Scott Borchetta almost took him, didn't he, Jonathan?
Not far off, and I'll tell you what, one more lap would have been enough.
Oh, yeah.
So we have the Miatas coming up, and that will end day one of what has been an enthralling day. In many ways, we have some long races with Trans Am, some shorter races because of that with SVRA, but it doesn't matter. It's still good entertainment, and Phil Lasco confirming that the Ford Mustang did just beat the Chevrolet Corvette of Scott Borchetta. John Cloud, with a busy day in the Ford Boss 302, takes third ahead of Brian Dolan, Jeff Lindstrom, Gary Moore, Peter Dolan, Hugh Boucher, and Ray Zizza, I should say, and Charlie Dolan rounding out the top 10 in the Shelby Mustang. So great stuff. That concludes our Group 6 and Group 12A feature race 1. They'll be in action again tomorrow, so stay with us. And we have one more race to bring you this afternoon here from VIR, and in a moment that race will be the Miata Heritage Cup.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Visit TireRack.com/Pirelli to find the full line of Pirelli tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should.
Music. My drive needs to be all about hearing it.
You have to rely on your gear, the way it feels, the way it does exactly what you need it to do.
The F-Pace, how Jaguar
Makes an SUV.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
One of the main reasons for poor fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed. Whether you're customizing or building a car from the ground up, Hagerty protects your vehicle with guaranteed value coverage. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media. So here we are, once again on track. As I mentioned earlier, the Miata Heritage Cup, their feature race 1. And once again, a host of almost identical Miatas. And some would argue that if you want to be a racing driver, this is the great entry point. Such a simple car to drive. I've even driven one of these, and I love them. They're fantastic cars. They handle so well. They do what you ask them to do. They let you have plenty of knowledge when you get it wrong. And it's just a lot of fun to drive. And you feel safe in them. You low down. And it's a great entry point. No question about it. I know my cohort here, Ben, enjoys a bit of Miata racing. Always put on a show, don't they?
Because it's kind of the British car model, but reliable. Yeah, it's basically they said.
We would hung and quarter you in England if you said that. You're right. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not right.
I think everybody knows. The British makes the prettiest. I love British cars. I've always had them. They make the prettiest cars, but they don't always get you to where you need to go. And that's part of the adventure.
What if you're not going anywhere?
Yeah,
it's a small country, Britain.
That's true. It's true. But if it rains, you're definitely not going anywhere.
Well, the Miata is the most reliable car I think that's ever been made, and that's why so many people race them. So many series exist, and they're usually one-make Miata series. They put on some great shows. They're usually pretty equal. What about this field? How sort of what's the sort of category?
Well, there's two fields, and it's NA and B. And you were asking me at Mid-Ohio what the difference was, and so I had to find that out.
Okay.
So basically, it is if it has pop-up headlights, that's like the vintage, the first generation. The other, and then so it's the NA and B doesn't mean anything. Somebody was joking and said no brakes, no acceleration, but that was one of the comments on our YouTube channel. But it's actually just a serial number on the VIN.
That's what sounds rude.
It's a VIN number, and one is an NA and one's an NB.
I see.
But they're pretty equally yoked, you start to feel old when you think that Miatas are vintage race cars, but they came out in 1989. And here they are. We've got a great series, the Miata Heritage. We just started about 4 or 5 years ago. It's a great point of entry because some of these cars, turnkey race cars, really competitive cars, you can find them for $10,000, $15,000 or even cheaper.
I think that's the key, isn't it? I've been down to a place called Harris Hill in Austin where they race one-make series Miatas, and that's the point. You strip them down, make them lightweight, buy them for $10,000 or so. Maybe put some good race measures in, obviously, with the roll cage and, maybe some better suspension. But pretty much as it runs, yeah?
Yeah. And the great thing about vintage racing, remember, is once you build the car once the right way like Rick Parent tells you to, it's never obsoleted.
Wait, Ben. I think that's sunshine.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I'm sure of it. The drone has finally shown
see a shadow.
Or we put the lights on here at VIR. I'm not sure. No, that is sunshine, folks. Just in time for the final race of the day here, the first of our doubleheader weekend for SVRA and Trans Am. Ben Sissel and Jonathan Green about to get underway for our final race of the first day, and that is, of course, the Heritage Miata Classic. Dark clouds still looming in the background, but we have got a bit of sunshine as the pace car peels off, and we have a full field of Miatas ready to go racing. They come up to the start-finish, and they'll hurtle down to Horseshoe, led by the car number 14 of Anthony Fornetti.
Yeah, he's always really fast. So are the Cefalos. Anthony Fornetti and Cefalo always gives us a great show at Road America, so expect to give them a great show here up front at VIR.
I'm delighted to see the sun shine out finally.
So much he couldn't pull focus.
Yeah. It is Fornetti who leads in the number 14. And just gliding his way through the trees and into NASCAR for the first time.
I think those are really pretty cars. I love the look of a Miata. I know people make fun of them. I can never figure out why. I think it's the perfect car.
To be honest, I was thinking about the Toyotas, some of the trucks that they make. I've got a Tacoma myself, and they're pretty trucks.
They are,
and they're not the sort of edgy kind of GM sad, and so are the Japanese manufacturers, Mazda included, have done a good job in making pretty cars, actually, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
And I know this is a pretty track, but I want to see some Miata racing, guys.
So here they come into full view here, heading towards turn 10.
So the leader there, I think I told you this story at Brainerd. It's one of my favorite stories. When we were racing at Road America, his name is Anthony Fornetti. So you're just expecting the most Italian person you've ever met.
Yeah, he's from the Bronx, right?
Yeah, I reach into his car, say, "Can I put cameras in your car?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you betcha."
Oh, he's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a cheesemaker.
Yeah, he's from up there somewhere, but I thought that was funny. But he is really, really fast.
Well, he could have been Minnesota.
Could be.
One of the two.
But he puts on a really good show in these Miatas.
And he's already spreading the field out, leading by quite a margin already. And it is quite hard to get used to seeing some sunshine here in Virginia, but now you see it in its glory.
Adjusted. Yeah.
You really do see VIR in its glory with the green fields and green forests in the background and a resplendent setting for a motor race. And as I mentioned earlier in the day, they've been racing here since 1957. And in fact, Trans Am in their first year of 66 came here. And it's great to have SVRA as part of their regular season.
So the problem here is timing and scoring is saying that Nicole Cooper-Cefalo is in number 2, but it could be Mark Cefalo because usually they have 2 cars in the field, but I'm only seeing 1 car, so I don't know who is driving. Could be Mark Cefalo, could be Nicole Cefalo, but they're in second place right now. And Anthony Fornetti is really pulling away, but that train back there in third, fourth, and fifth, if they can get into a draft, they're really going to start to catch up quickly.
Well, he's already got a 1.8 second lead now over Nicole Cooper-Cefalo. So, if it is Nicole, she's still hanging in there in second place. Robert Rowland in third at the moment. Daniel Spangler in fourth position. There you go, confirmation of the top 3 and the gaps between them. Good battle here for 4th, 5th, and 6th place at the moment, starting to unfold.
Look at that.
Gerchak, Pring, Krasatek. Jay Black in 10th position ahead of Massey and Matthias.
So the last 3 races that we've had in this group, minus the race we had at Mid-Ohio, we've called them transponder races. Basically, it was decided by whoever had their transponder
switched
to the
on
most up front in the car. So if somebody had it like a foot back from the front bumper, they might have lost. It was so close that it was basically whoever had their transponder
racing. I like
up
it.
The front. Yeah, it was really neat. So now all of them, you'll see them, sometimes they're zip tied to the front bumper.
As long as it's in the rules.
That's within the rules, yeah.
Okay.
You can't have a stick in your car and like put it up front.
You can't put a fishing rod out the window.
You can't do that.
Okay.
But look at this train right here for third to, 7th place.
Can you get it? Can you get a slipstream in a Miata?
Oh, yeah. Actually, the drafting on this straightaway is super important. And I've heard that a train of 4 is the fastest. Right now, that 3 wide like that is probably not recommended, but both of them are making nobody can decide who's passing. They're all 3 passing.
Well, they're all going identical speed as well. Yeah. It's all going to sort itself out into roller coaster, but somebody might come off the rails if we're not careful. Yes, it's been the site of many an incident today, including JP Southern in the TA2 race, getting it wrong and going straight on into that tyre wall you can see in front of the braking point there. But he survived, and I said more than survived, he rolled it over, but the car did not survive. JP was okay.
So that's Michael Bond right there in the number 1, 2, 3 Mazda, and he is trying his best to stay at the tail end of that train. If he can stay at the tail end of that train, he could probably slingshot his way up to the front in the next time they go through that back straight.
So Fornetti continues to lead from Cefalo and Rowland. Into Horseshoe they go. This is the final race of Saturday, the first day of our doubleheader. And look at this. Great racing here. Identical Miatas going at it. A Mazda Fest.
So that's Daniel Spangler, followed by Eric Gerchak and Ken Wilkinson right there in that little train with Michael Bond right behind. So Michael Bond right now is in probably the best seat, but then we have somebody coming up right behind him, Nathan Pring in the number 85. Look at this train, Jonathan.
That's really good, and this is what Miata Racing is all about. And I think I can understand why, because this is, like I said, you can learn so much. It's close racing, but it's fair racing, and, people aren't taking strips off each other and being, you can't muscle your way in a Miata. You're all going the same speed, and if you try to be too aggressive, you'll just lose out.
And I'll tell you a little bit about this vintage Miata thing. So Miatas have gotten kind of a bad reputation in some of the other clubs about being like a bang and a crash fest. And we said, no, this is vintage Miata racing. And the first couple times they came to events, we had separate drivers meetings with them, and we said no bump drafting, no contact whatsoever. And at first they were really reluctant. And then now almost all of them, all these like diehard vintage Miata drivers, they love it because they don't have to paint the car after every weekend.
Right.
They don't have to fix body work. And
Well, that's not really the point of vintage racing,
They say
is it?
it's so much harder to race like this, but it's also so much better knowing you're going into the last turn and you're not going to get punted.
Well, it's finesse, too. It takes a lot of finesse to race closely.
So it's gentleman
wheel to wheel.
Miata racing, which I bet you 10 years ago they thought would never exist. And Tony took a lot of licks when he announced this, and now it's really proven to be true because they are racing, and some of these cars look like vintage race cars. They've got really pretty paint jobs, and they're really well taken care of.
Well, and as you say, an 89 car is now a vintage car, so, value-wise, you don't want to be messing about with them and repainting them and bashing them up every weekend because they are classics now. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just look at how much fun that looks like. That is so cool. I'm jealous. Are you jealous?
I was about to say, Ben, I've got a feeling that we're going to have to enter one of these races before long.
I think we should add it to the budget that we just need to commentate from the race car.
Listen, the way Greenlight are going, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I think we could easily pull that off.
Side by side through the start-finish line.
I'll be up for it. So again, it'll be a shortened race, so not expecting too many more laps from this Miata sprint race, the first of their feature races. And at the moment, it's still Anthony Fornetti out front. Good midfield battle here going on for position. Cefalo still in second. Spangler's gone up to third place now. Rowland dropped down to sixth, so I think a mistake there by Rowland or something went wrong.
Or the bump draft got him.
Yeah, maybe.
Not the bump draft. I'm sorry, the draft.
The draft, not the bump draft. It's not NASCAR.
Yeah.
This ain't Darlington. So Spangler up to third position now. And I think we may get one more lap. I'm just trying to see out the window whether the white flag is out, but we may just get another lap before the checkered.
I didn't see him displaying the last lap when they came through the checkered or the
No, and officially
finish.
on the time board they've got at least a minute and a half left of racing, which would give them at least another lap. So could be a good finish. But I don't think the winner is in doubt. He's 2.3 seconds up the road at the moment. Out of 12, they come, and down the back straight. Now's a chance to get some maybe drafting done.
Look at this. He's trying to get out. I think he got out a little bit too early.
This is the final lap, so I spoke too soon. Final lap then of our Heritage Miata Cup race, their fifth feature race of the weekend. And at the moment, Anthony Fornetti on his way towards roller coaster and rolling away for another victory. Cefalo second, Spendler, who got through to third place, and Rowland, as you can see, was up in third at one point, now down to sixth place. And Gerchak in fourth. And here comes your leader down roller coaster and into Hogpen for the final time. He's led from start to finish in the number 14. Got a good start, and now just powers his way towards the checkered flag here at VIR, and there it is. And Anthony Fornetti wins by some 2.5, almost 3 seconds at the end there. Nicole Cooper-Cefalo takes second place, Daniel Spengler in third, Eric Gerchak in fourth position, Ken Wilkinson in fifth, and Michael Bond running out the top six.
I love that shot right there through the trees of VIR. And I just love the look of a Mazda Miata.
Yeah, especially with the sun out.
Look at their smiles. The cars look like they're just having a blast.
I think they should make them have the lights on, though. Get those.
There's a guy that races with us at Mid-Ohio in a pink one, and he winks at you. He
That's
puts
nice.
one headlight up and back and forth, and it has eyebrows.
So I was about to say, has he controlled that so you can do that? Because he can't usually do that.
I think he actuated only one, and I think he just disabled the other one.
That's a smart move. That's a good move. I like that. So finally the sun has come out here at VIR to show you exactly what it looks like, and we will give you the result. There it is. Anthony Fornetti with the win over Nicole Cooper-Cefalo in second place. Daniel Spangler in third. Eric Gerchak in fourth position. Ken Wilkinson fifth. And in sixth is Michael Bond, Robert Rowland, Nathan Pring, Scott Kratzek, and in 10th position, Jim Black. And that rounds out our top 10 for the Mazda Miata Heritage Cup Feature Race 1. They'll be back in action tomorrow again. My thanks to Ben Sissel. And we will be back in action again tomorrow too. And we look forward for you to join us here on the live stream. And whenever you can join us, please do. And we'll be on all day. We've got Trans Am action, we've got SVRA action, and we're not expecting any inclement weather. So, until tomorrow, from me, Jonathan Green, goodbye for now.
I found a place in my heart. I found a light in the dark. I found my heaven.
The Range Rover Evoque.
Everything you touch, everything you feel is Jaguar, especially when you hit the accelerator.
Never stop creating, never stop innovating. Every day is a chance to show the world something it has never seen.
The I-Pace.
This is how Jaguar delivers electric performance.
For great offers, visit your Jaguar retailer during the Impeccable Timing sales event.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
When the road calls, we answer with our guaranteed value, unparalleled service and expertise, and savings of $264 on average. Hagerty has you covered no matter what's around the bend. Get a quote today at Hagerty.com.
I travel a lot. Whether it's a meeting in New York or a car auction in LA, I trust only Passport Transport to deliver my car. With their up-to-the-minute GPS tracking system, I know exactly where my car is at all times. They take the extra step to secure my vehicle's safety, and their pickup and delivery service is truly door-to-door. With Passport Transport, I know my car's in good hands, because they're car guys too. I'm Roger Van Ness, CEO of Kemp Auto Museum, and this is why I'm a Passport Transport customer.
Land Rover has reimagined an icon, and in doing so, has created an SUV for the 21st century. Challenged in the most demanding of terrains, not only did the new Defender survive, it thrived. We knew the only way to honor its heritage was to design a vehicle built for a new breed of explorers as we reinvent the future of adventuring together. This is what makes the new Defender capable of great things. Land Rover, above and beyond.
I'm Willie T. Ricks. Meet my friend Brian Cook, a wealth advisor, who's one of us, a winner.
Both racing and finance are unpredictable. You want a pro team guiding you.
Brian and his team work hard to keep you winning in life, not just financially. Get to your goal faster and enjoy the drive more. Schedule a free conversation with Brian at Cook Wealth Management, SVRA's official wealth management company.
And join Brian and me in the winner's circle.